2 years ago, Tennessee entered the SEC tournament as a projected 3 seed. Okay. They won the SEC tournament. They won all 3 games in 3 days. Their first SEC tournament title in over 22 years. They still got into the NCAA tournament as a number 3 seed. Included in that tournament, by the way, was Tennessee beating Kentucky, a top 5 team. Now, the team they beat to get there, Texas A&M, won 3 games in 3 days and beat 2 top 10 teams in the process. They were a bubble team entering the SEC tournament. Then they beat 2 top 10 teams to go face Tennessee in the SEC tournament title and lose. And they still didn't make it into the NCAA tournament, which made it very clear the NCAA tournament took the conference tournaments, took zero indication from them. Rick Barnes, at the time, railed against them. And he basically said, quote, "If conference tournaments don't mean anything, if the teams are already slotted to be in the tournament, can't improve their seeding, we should stay home and let the teams that are trying to get in the tournament fight for that automatic bid. Give our league a chance to get more teams in the NCAA tournament."
Okay, Robert says Caleb needs a chill pill. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He can do a line of cocaine right now if he wants to, because I think he's on to something. No, he does that. But if he needs more energy, we can do that, because Caleb, this is still a conspiracy. But of all the conspiracies that you and I have both thrown out, this is by far the most believable. On the conspiracy scale, if 10 is I believe it, and 1 is Bigfoots fly UFOs. Okay. I'm at about an 8. And I think it's like I did it. I think it's how much preparation goes into this team, how much the week before you spend on getting better. Do any of the players say, it seems like we're working on our fundamentals and our offense against any opponent, as opposed to really buckling down on Mississippi State? If that's the case, then you get that feel when you go into the game, and then they get out of it. They get out of the SEC tournament, and guys, trust us. We love content. I would have given anything to be watching basketball on Saturday and writing about things that we're going to run Saturday night and Sunday. So this is not something we want to happen. This is not something that I think is the best overall. But given where the sport is and how it's set up, all I can do is call Rick Barnes smart and innovative if he did something like this. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, those adjectives aren't used a lot with a guy that people call regular season Rick. City Heating and Air Conditioning, 50 years in East Tennessee. Integrity matters. Don't trust a fly-by-night HVAC company to tell you that you need a new unit that could cost you thousands or more. Go to cityheatandair.com, cityheatandair.com. Caleb, this isn't even that much of a conspiracy. This may just be a line of thought. This may just be an opinion. I'm not even sure it's a hot take after what happened this weekend. Friday, I wondered if you were nuts.
So you guys ready for the evidence that Tennessee didn't even go all out to beat Mississippi State? You ready for the hard evidence that just flat out proves it?
Okay, and I've got one that I think proves the other side, but you go.
Okay. So, first was a disproportionate amount of threes. 33 of Tennessee's 62 shots were threes. That's tied for the 3rd most threes they've taken all year. Every other time they've taken more than 33s, they attempted at least 65 shots. They usually attempt in the 70s. They only took 62 shots. Second, there's 4 takeaways here. The second one, and Jimmy Hyams brought this up over the weekend, and he had a good point. He has a column on our website right now about the concern of Tennessee in the paint. Tennessee was outscored 42-14 in the paint. Guys, Jonas Adu was second team all SEC and on the all SEC defensive team. How does he just overnight get wrecked in the paint like that? That doesn't happen. Third, and this is a big one too, is that Tennessee had a 2.9 block percentage. On the year, they have a 6.1 block percentage. That's the lowest. I'm sorry, not on the year. The lowest block percentage they had in any game all year was 6.1. They had nearly just a third of that on Friday The lowest by far they'd had all year. That indicates they contested fewer shots than they've contested in any game this year. They didn't even contest shots. That's what that really measures. And then lastly, if you guys watched the game, it was kind of Tennessee was still somewhat theoretically in it for a period of time in the second half, and they pressed for a minute and actually gave Mississippi State some trouble. The only time they pressed was when Dalton Knecht was on the bench. They wouldn't even call the press defense when Knecht was out there because they didn't want to waste his energy. So, Dave, before you jump in, here's what I want to say happened. Because I'm not going to say Barnes lost the game on purpose. Here's what I think happened. Barnes said, don't fight that hard for loose balls. Don't fight that hard on trying to contest shots. Don't try to outmuscle in the paint. Hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
Try to win the game just shooting from outside. If the shots fall, great. If they don't, we'll go home.
Okay, I don't believe you can be that transparent with young men. I think you can say we're going to live with the three, we're going to knock them down, go out there and jack them up. But I don't think you can say don't go for loose balls and don't get effort. That, to me, would maybe be the one line that we would cross where I would differ with you. But Me Drinker says if Tennessee gets past the Sweet 16, I'll give you all credit. Give Caleb credit. He broke the internet again. But if they don't, y'all are going to eat crow. No, Mississippi State, he also points out, went 2-0 against them. I don't think they have to go past the Sweet 16 to prove you right, Caleb. But if they made a Final Four run and you look back on this podcast, you sure would look like an Einstein. There's no question.
I'm looking like an Einstein even if they lose the first round. Okay, this is what happened.
Humility, Caleb.
And by the way, for those who say Mississippi State went 2-0 against Tennessee. Sorry, I love you, Me Drinker. I just wanted to I got a lot of that this weekend, and I fought a lot of people. You're one of our best, Me Drinker. You make a lot of great points. But I have to tell you guys.
It's because he's on the mead.
I'm not on the mead. Okay,
maybe
some lingering effects from St. Patty's Day.
Mead drinkers.
Maybe some lingering effects. Oh, okay, there we go. All right, so
he's on the mead. Remember, people used to say he's on the pot or he's on the weed. Sounds so weird to be on. Anyway, he's on the meat. Go ahead.
Tennessee, their first loss to Mississippi State was a 77-72 game in which Dalton Knecht had just come back from injury, and it was at Mississippi State, and they were the rest of the team was learning how to play with Dalton Knecht because, as you know, Dave, as you've written, they changed the offense this year because of Dalton Knecht. They changed their whole offensive scheme because of Dalton Knecht. And they lost 77-72.
Can I offer
they
some
lost 73 to hold on, let me just bring this up and then I'll let you offer it. They lost 73-56 in a game that wasn't even that close to Mississippi State this time when they're more adjusted to Dalton Knecht, and it was an effective home game because they were playing in Nashville.
Okay, I'm going to play the other side of this because I still do not agree with Caleb, but I don't want to be disingenuous and say he hasn't made me think a lot. Hunter says, let's say it is true. Was it a good decision with all the upsets in the conference tournaments? If Tennessee had won the tournament, they would have been that fourth one seed playing in the West. Now, our argument is that the selection committee, and I've thought this for at least 10 years, that they don't really care because they have to have that bracket done. The bracket shouldn't come out till Monday night from now on. I mean, that's what they should do, but they're not going to do this because it is a little bit of a tradition. On the YouTube.
How's it not an AI bracket yet? How is AI not there shouldn't even be a selection committee. It should be AI.
You know me, I'm formula guy. I'm fine with a formula for football, basketball, lay them out. I don't care about conference championships, all that. But let me throw out some reasons why you're wrong, just for the fun of it. Okay. Number one, they did play the starters. So if you're going to throw a game, you don't run Dalton Knecht out there and risk an injury to one of your best players or Zakai Ziegler or any of those guys. So your response to that, they did play their best players. They started their best players. I've got an answer to that if you don't.
Well, I mean, I can do you one better because they also not only did they play him, they played Dalton Knecht 35 minutes and Zakai Ziegler 38 minutes, which is insane to me. And I've criticized Barnes for that all year.
Can I support your point for a second?
Sure.
The SEC would rain hell on you if you didn't play your starters.
That's where I was going. Barnes had to make it look like he cared. It's not about them playing. There's a difference between playing and playing at a level that exerts a lot of energy. Is that fair to say, Dave, in basketball?
Yes, so it's very fair to say.
Yes. Tennessee, Rick Barnes' strategy going into the game was live by the 3, die by the 3. For those who know basketball, that doesn't drain your energy the way trying to win in the paint does. Just doesn't.
Okay. Let me throw some other ones at you real quick. Now, Hunter says, I do agree with Caleb that the effort in the paint shows they didn't care much. However, Vescovi and Josiah not playing well isn't lack of effort. They have just stunk this year. A lot of truth to that. Okay, I'm going to give you counter Caleb point number 2. Counter Caleb point number 2 is that maybe the players just didn't think a lot of the SEC tournament. Ron Slay's come on here and said that they didn't think a lot of the SEC tournament. They were looking ahead to the NCAA tournament. So that would take away your argument of an orchestrated throwing of the game. Do you give that any merit whatsoever?
No, because the way they the disproportionate 3-point shooting is what gives it away, particularly when, and here's a big point, Mississippi State played half that game in a 1-3-1 zone. Now, a 1-3-1, as you guys know, is not a 2-3. The lanes underneath the basket are wide open. There's a lot of easy shots underneath the circle when you play a 1-3-1. Tennessee barely tried any shots underneath the circle in a 1-3-1, despite having an all SEC center.
Okay. Got no argument with that. All right. Here's another one. You're not going to go out there.
He's trying so hard to say Tennessee tried.
No, you're not going to go out there and get yourself embarrassed. I mean, it's one thing to lose. It's another thing to lose by 20 points.
Well, that's where this comes in of live by the 3, die by the 3. Tennessee is not a live by the 3, die by the 3 team. So the point is, if the shots are falling, Tennessee's going to the next round no matter what. If they're not, they're not. They weren't just not falling on Friday. They were just ice cold shooting the ball on Friday.
So would Rick Barnes have been upset had they won if those threes dropped?
No, he wouldn't have been upset if they won. And so, yeah, he would have been fine if they made it to Saturday. Rick Barnes' strategy was, I'm not going to overwork our team in the paint. And he's been very clear on this. Look, Rick Barnes kind of showed up the NCAA without showing up the NCAA with what he did. And he wasn't the only one. Now, not everybody was this way. Look, I'm going to be honest. Purdue, Wisconsin, I actually think Purdue was trying to win that game. I do. I watched that game. I don't think there was any new strategy. I think that's just one of those random upsets that happened. But I watched Houston against Iowa State. You don't lose like that if you're Houston to Iowa State. And you don't lose like that if you're UNC.
I'll offer you another one. And by the way, sign up. It's pinned up on the page. Go ahead and sign up and take part of our NCAA bracket challenge. And we're going to have all kinds of prizes to give away whoever wins it. So you can become a member of the Hooker's Corner on Patreon without spending $1. So you are eligible even if you're not a paid member. So go ahead and get in there, fill out your bracket, and let's see you win great stuff, including gift certificates, a book, and a shirt. All right, Caleb, I got one last one for you. This one's very innate, I guess is the word. There was a point where Dalton Connect missed a 3 in the second half that would have made it a ball game. It was a long 3. It was a little short, maybe dead legs, which proves your point. But he went and grabbed the ball in the corner, and he was kind of in the concourse, and he slammed the ball down, and he was mad that they were getting beat like that. That you would agree, that's not a faux response. He was upset. I don't think he would have done that had he been okay with the losing.
You're bolstering my point that Rick Barnes was the one behind it, not Dalton Connect or the players.
Okay,
this
so
was a strategy.
Going back, you don't think he said, don't play hard in the paint. You think he probably just dialed up the plays, not to play
I
hard.
think Rick Barnes dialed up a strategy that said, we're going to look for the 3 first.
Okay. I mean, am I wrong? He brings up a great point. Somebody says, damn straight, Caleb. Yep, Caleb. Yeah, so if you win, no big deal. You probably haven't put up too much energy to be able to win. I don't have anything else for you. I don't have anything else that can tell you that they didn't throw that game, that it wasn't smart to throw that game. I mean, yeah, you broke the internet, Caleb.
They're better than me. Because and we're going to talk later in the week too. We're not going to do it today, but I mean, I'm teasing it already because as college football starts to expand with the playoff, we're seeing a preview of what conference championships in football are going to be in the future, because this is what expanded playoffs do. You can have your little fun March, you can have your little fun December, but you're tossing everything great about a regular season and I guess postseason before the postseason event and conference tournaments, conference championships. What you saw in the SEC tournament over the weekend, you're going to see in the SEC championship game in football very soon.